Hello everyone, I'm Aaron. Have you ever feel like giving up? I mean, really, truly ready to quit? Maybe on a math problem, learning a new song, or even walking across the desert. When I was 10 years old, my mom sent me to a summer camp whose task was walking across the Tanger Desert. The goal of the first day, a nice, relaxing 30 kilometers walk. Sounds fun, right? By the second kilometers, I was already a disaster. The sand was hot, and my backpack was heavy, and my mind was busy thinking, my mom is so cruel to send me to a place like this. This is officially the worst vacation ever. I was so sure I couldn't make it. I even tried to cut a deal with my teacher. Can I just sit in a support vehicle? I really can't walk anymore. Of course, it didn't work. So there I was, walking and crying and walking. It felt like I was on a never-ending treadmill of pain, except this treadmill was made of sand and no stop button. My brain was like a broken record. I can't do this. I want to go home. I want air condition. I want Coca-Cola now. That was my lowest point. But it also taught me my first lesson about the true grit. I walked and cried, and I walked some more. I was convinced I was the unluckiest 10-year-old on the planet. But that days, and the days follow, taught me everything that I thought about being tough was wrong. Suddenly, I saw the world beyond my own misery. I saw herds of camels moving across the dunes, and it was so majestic. I jumped into the moon lake for a swim, washing away all the dust and exhaustion. And that night, when I stepped out of my tent and looked up, I saw a sky full of more stars than I ever knew existed. What I remember most vividly is in one of our rest stops, I was thirsty and tired. I could have eaten anything. My teammate handed me a tomato. I normally hate tomatoes, but in that moment, that tomato was the most incredible, juicy, sweet fruit I have never tasted. That was a tiny moment of pure joy and whole lots of struggle. That was my first sweet tomato. It's my code for those small, unexpected sparks of happiness and curiosity we can find right inside our biggest challenges. You see, I used to think grit was about being a superhero. You know, the kind of person who never doubts, never cries, just clenches your jaws and powers through. But in that desert, I was on the opposite of that. I all doubts, all tears, and yet I finished. I didn't just survive day 1. By day 3, I even started to enjoy it. So, what changed? I discovered that the real grit isn't about ignoring the I want to quit voice in your head. It's about hearing that voice, having a conversation with it, and then go find your sweet tomatoes. So, I started to find my sweet tomato everywhere. Last year, when I studied in another city, I feel lots of pressures from my study, and I also miss home very much. That was my I want to quit moment. But then, I remember the desert, so I started to find my sweet tomatoes. That was a huge challenge for me, badminton. For guys always on the heavier side, and the main exercise was avoiding exercise, this is a revolution. I joined in a badminton club. I was terrible at first. My serves often ended up behind me, and I was all sweating after just 5 minutes. But I focused on one good shot. The racket hitting a birdie just right. Ping, that sound became my sweet tomatoes. When I was practicing piano, repeating the same score for 100 times isn't very thrilling. It's a musical desert. The I want to quit voice was loud, but the sweet tomato is when you finally nail a difficult note. Not a feeling, it's like a mini firework in your brain. So you shift from, I have to practice, to, how can I get that feeling again? Even with chores, I know thrilling stuff. There was a time I thought cleaning the toilet was the worst job ever. Dirty, tedious, and downright unpleasant. But it changed when my dad stepped in. He didn't just order me to do it, he broke it down with me. How can we transform a dirty toilet to a sparkling one? We turn it into a project. And even filming, how can we clean the toilet like a pro, video and send it online? Guess what? People actually like it. That's when I shift my mindset from, I have to do this to, how can I do this better? That curiosity makes all the difference. Finding a sense of joy in something so ordinary. That was my sweet tomato. We were often told to be resilient or never give up. But that sounds so serious, so heavy. It feels like if you are not suffering silently, then we are wrong. I'm here to suggest a different path. What if I tell you, being resilient isn't about fighting with the struggle. It's about being clever and curious within the struggle. What if the secret about finishing your marathon isn't about sinking the finish line? It's about enjoying the beautiful view along the way. Our brain can focus on the pain and the curiosity at the same time. If we are starting to look for a sweet tomato, we are not ignoring the difficulty. We are simply choosing a way to power your journey with joy instead of pure willpower. So, let me ask you a question. What's the desert you are walking through right now? Maybe it's a big exam, a project at work, or learning a new skills. And more importantly, what's your sweet tomatoes? Maybe it's a satisfaction of highlighting a textbook with 3 different colors. Or it's a perfect sip of coffee after solving some difficult problems. Or it's a funny meme you share with your friends who's struggling with the same thing. So don't just enjoy your desert. Explore it. Be curious about it. I promise you the sweet tomato is in there. You just have to be willing to look for it. And you find them, you'll realize something amazing. You are not just surviving your desert. You are growing through them. So go find your sweet tomatoes, because you are not just walking through a desert. You are discovering it, and you are so much stronger than you think. Thank you.